What if Tensura anime is an outer god's playground? Want a break from the ads? Want a description of this FIC? Fine. Akira, a normal human, gets reincarnated into an anime world with 3 wishes, thanks to the Random Omnipotent Being. If I can't wish for omnipotence, then I'll create a scenario where I become absurdly overpowered on day 1, he said. And that's exactly what happened. I got you, homie. The Random Omnipotent Being laughed. Day 1. It has only been 1 day. It feels like 1,000 centuries. The power of Boundless Records is forcefully changing my personality. Corrupted by the power of infinite knowledge, Akira becomes an outer god with the ability to travel worlds and seduce any woman he wants throughout the vast multiverse. This is the birth of a new outer god. Chapter 1: When Balance Breaks. You would imagine an isekai novel or anime to go like this. I get hit by truck Kuin, get struck by a sudden bolt of lightning, or die of a fatal injury trying to protect someone. Then, I get reincarnated into the weakest being in a world of swords and magic, become stronger, and build a harem. Well, this wasn't the case for me. First of all, I happen to have experienced all 3 of those isekai deaths. I got crushed by truck Kuin, and then I got stabbed in the back by a random alcoholic guy who thought I was ignoring him. And as if that wasn't enough, a miraculous bolt of lightning struck from above, even though there weren't any clouds in the sky. In fact, the sky was azure blue. Upon my death, I encountered a ROB, or Random Omnipotent Being, who kept laughing for several minutes, even though I was standing right in front of him. Ah ha ha ha! To die 3 times in 1 sitting. I thought it was just a myth, but you ended up proving I was wrong. Ah ha ha ha! Laughed the ROB. Ignoring his laughter, Akira said, "So, am I going to get reincarnated or something?" Going back to the conversation, the ROB spoke. "Yup, you guessed it, little one. Even though just one of your 3 death conditions would have been enough for you to get reincarnated, you went through 3 deaths simultaneously, which is extremely rare. This phenomenon is called the perfect isekai death condition. You're the first in history to have achieved such a thing. Rejoice, little one," said the ROB, still giggling. "Am I supposed to be happy right now?" asked Akira. "Yes. You see, since you're the first in history to have proven the existence of such a ridiculous thing, you will be granted 3 wishes before being reincarnated." "I'm all ears, so what do you want in your next life?" said the ROB. "Oh, then, I'd like to get reincarnated into the world of Tensura at the exact moment where canon starts," said Akira in disbelief. Who would have thought such an opportunity would be waiting for him upon his death? "Granted. Next," said the ROB. "Before that, can I wish for omnipotence? Or nigh omnipotence at most?" he asked. No. You cannot wish for power that exceeds my capabilities, so you'll have to wish for something else other than being the multiverse's strongest, or something like that. If I cannot wish for absolute power, I'll just create scenarios where I become the strongest, Akira thought. This guy must surely be able to manipulate timelines, so now that he's created a Tensura alternate universe, I'll ask him to do something for me. Alright, I want my race to be a true dragon, but not just some ordinary true dragon like Velda's siblings. I want to be a direct descendant of the founder, Veldanava. Oh ho ho, you want to do incest-wincest things, Fine, you get your wish. What's next? He asked. That was easy, Kira thought. Now, to get even more overpowered, I'll ask for the origin skills. I wish to get the skill Void God Azathoth and Wisdom Goddess Athena, demanded Akira with his fingers crossed. If he could not wish for omnipotence, then he would wish for the strongest skills in the Tensura domain. Since they are just artificial fragments inside of the system, granting them wouldn't be difficult, but he could surely attain godhood by using them correctly. Void God Azathoth, a skill that can destroy, absorb, and nullify anything. And Wisdom Goddess Athena, a sentient assistant capable of doing the most absurdly difficult tasks in record time, as well as physically impossible calculations. If he got these 2 skills, he would surely be the strongest in the Tensura-verse. And if he got reincarnated as a descendant of Veldanava, he would get the same skills as Demon Lord Malim, since not much information is registered for Velda's descendants. 2 skills. I got you, homie, said the ROB cheerfully. Really? Was it that easy? Asked Akira just to make sure. Yeah. In a moment, you'll be reincarnated within the Tensura verse at the moment where canon starts with 2 origin skills. I hope you find your happiness there. Farewell, Akira. The ROB touched Akira's spectral forehead, making an enormous flow of information about the world he was about to get reincarnated into rush through his mind. After that, a divine drop of holy water fell on Akira's head, making his mind go blank. An instant later, Akira woke up in a cave. No, this was no ordinary cave. The amount of magicules in this place was enough to slowly destroy the whole earth if directly exposed to it. A few seconds later, Akira fully came to his senses. Where am I? He said. Answer. You are in Veldanava's final resting place, said Athena. Veldanava's final resting place? Asked Akira. Correct. In the final moments of his life, Veldanava teleported here with the last remainings of his strength. Because if he were to die in the overworld, his magicules would destroy the world and kill everyone. Okay then, Athena, activate magic perception. Understood. Activating. Success. You can now see the flow of magicules in your surroundings. Upon activation, the cave started to glow with a rainbow aura, showcasing the extraordinary amounts of magicules in the area. So these are the infamous magicules, the source of power and magical energy of Tensura. I can feel the powerful pressure around me. Negative, Master. These are not magicules, but what we call chaos energy. It is an omnipotent type of energy which Veldanava had access to when he still possessed Turn Null. The constant interactions between these particles have caused them to merge and create an entity made of pure chaos, known as Master. I see. Then can I refer to myself as Veldanava's son? Negative. Unlike Malim Nava, who was created by Veldanava and Lucia through normal sexual intercourse, you were born from the dragon's leaking aura. I see. Well, that's quite a relief, to be honest. Having Malim as a sibling would have been a bit problematic. Now, Athena, show me my system panel. Yes, Master. Name none. Current gender, male. Race, true dragon heir. Tier, mid-Genesis tier. Vitality, 100 million HP. Magical reserve, 100 million MP. Origin skills. Magicules breeder reactor, Void god Azathoth, Wisdom goddess Athena. Ultimate skills, Wrathful king Satinal. Unique skills, Dragon ambition, Makeshift, Drago Nova, Stampede, plus 7 others. I see. Even though I'm a newborn, I'm still pretty overpowered, maybe even stronger than Malim in her battle form. But one question, why do I have the Stampede and Satinal skills? If I remember correctly, these were skills that belonged to Malim? He asked. Due to Master being born so suddenly, and since Veldanava had only one child, not enough information was available for your successful birth. So, you were granted the same skills, techniques, and abilities as his other child, Malim. Akira took a few seconds to analyze the situation and understand what he was in. Now, Athena, command Azathoth to absorb all the magicules in the area, said Akira. Understood. Initializing. A dark aura then poured out of Akira's body, which enveloped the whole cave, making it completely empty. Notice, Master's power has increased exponentially after absorbing all chaos energy in the cave. An evolution of Master is now available. Proceed with evolution. Yes or no? Yes. Upon agreeing, Akira got enveloped in a blue cocoon, making his body go through an intense evolution with an incredibly enormous surge of power. After a few moments, Akira finished his evolution. He got out of the cocoon with a brand new, gorgeous body. Oh, mumbled the shocked Athena. Anything on your mind, Athena? Asked Akira. Negative. Even Athena, who was programmed to obey her master no matter what, couldn't help but shake from his handsomeness. Athena, can you show me my panel now? Understood. My master. Name none. Current gender, male. Physical age, newborn. Existential age, 18 years old. Alignment, neutral. Main occupation, none. Secondary occupation, none. Main race, ultimate dragon god. Secondary race, none. Extra race, none. Main bloodline, unique blood. Secondary bloodline, Nava blood. Extra bloodline, none. Tier peak, divine protection, none. Rank, catastrophe SSS. Vitality, EXHP. Magical reserve, EXMP. Agility SSS. Charm EX. Intelligence, SSS. Luck 100%. Origin skills, Information God Akashic Records, Magicules Breeder Reactor, Void God Azathoth, Abyssal God Jaldabaoth, Wisdom Goddess Athena, Creation God Yahweh, Space-Time God Yog Sothoth Herc. Ultimate skills, Justice King Michael, Knowledge King Raphael, Gluttony King Beelzebub, Prideful King Lucifer, Greed King Mammon, Lust King Asmodeus, Sloth King Belphegor, Envious King Leviathan, Wrathful King Satnal, Covenant King Uriel, Recovery King Gabriel, plus 89 others. Basic skills, all totaling 2,000 skills. Unique skills, Dragon God's Aura, Multiversal Makeshift, Ultimate Drago Nova, Ultimate Drago Breaker, Ultimate Drago Buster, Ultimate Drago Changer, Battle Form, True Form. Resistances, Omni Pain Nullification, Multiversal Poison Nullification, Existential Holy Attack Nullification, Ultimate Thermal Resistance, All Magical Attack Nullification, Boredom Nullification, Ultra Cringe Resistance, Existential Physical Attack Nullification, Emotion Nullification. Akira's eyes widened and a shocked expression appeared on his face as he started shaking uncontrollably in joy and excitement. With this much power, he could do anything he wanted without holding back, and nothing could stop him. I can't believe it. I have obtained all the power of Veldanava in his prime, yet I still have room and potential for growth. This is the best, he laughed. Though that laughter was quickly interrupted by Athena's report. Warning. Turn Null is reacting to changes. Due to Master's evolution, all of the energy reserves have been filled up, including the nothingness energy for Turn Null. The skill will go critical soon. Turn Null, the power to create and destroy the entire universe in a matter of seconds. Athena, make sure to create multiple pocket dimensions where I can store the energy of Turn Null, he said. Understood. Creating new skills. Successful, said Athena. Akira then felt a surge of power, and the system panel reappeared in front of him, announcing the acquisition of a new skill. Ding! You have obtained the new self-made skill, Infinite Dimension. It is a pocket dimension made out of the combination of an infinite amount of universes where you can store anything. Even putting an entire omniverse inside this dimension would still not be enough to occupy all space. After reading the skill description, Akira smiled and continued. Good. Now that I think about it, I haven't seen my face and body since my reincarnation. Athena, can you summon a small mirror in front of me? Of course, using Creation God Yahweh as a base. Successful. A small mirror appeared in front of Akira. Looking at his reflection, he almost stumbled back after catching nothing but a small glance at his beyond perfect appearance. No wonder Athena mumbled back then, he thought. He truly looked like a god. His eyes were golden yellow with long, azure blue hair, clear skin, and beautiful features that would make any mortal mistake him for the wrong gender if viewed from the right angle. Akira seemed to be around 17 years old and stood 6 feet tall. Wow, is this really me? I look handsome, way too handsome in my opinion. It's almost frightening how beautiful I am. I may seem inhuman. What do you think, Athena? He asked. Why, you truly are the most beautiful, handsome, and gorgeous creature. I suggest making this godly form an independent skill, and using an artificial beauty more suitable for mortals for the time being, said Athena. Akira moved his shoulder and spoke. Great, go for it. On it. Success. By the way, Athena, can I name myself? Of course. There's nothing that Master can't do. All right then. Akira will remain my name in this new world. Akira Nava it is. The voice of the world immediately reacted to Akira's authority and registered his demand. Announcement. The ultimate dragon god has been born into this world. Talk about authority. I got an entire announcement just for my birth, Akira said. Congratulations on your new name, Master. Thanks, Athena. But I think it's time for us to move on to the next step of my plan. So I'm gonna have to name you and make you an omniscient intelligence core, he said. An omniscient intelligence core. Isn't that the peak evolution of an intelligent skill? Are you sure about that? She asked. From now onwards, you'll be known as Alice, my loyal servant and assistant, said Akira. Oh my! Upon naming Athena, Akira made a body double that was supposed to be Alice's new body. Successfully, Alice's mind and ego got transferred into her master's double, started to take shape, and a few minutes later the transformation was complete. The aura which enveloped Alice started to disperse, revealing her body. She was a goddess. She possessed a perfect feminine body, a charming face with red eyes, and long silver hair that reached her wrists. She seemed to be around 18 years old and was as tall as Akira. She also had charming feminine features which could make even a god of love fall for her. Announcement. Manas. Alice has been born. Before the voice of the world could finish its statement, Akira yelled, "Devour it, Azathoth." As soon as he said that, the black aura emerged again from Akira and devoured it. Yes, the voice of the world got devoured by Akira. But then again, Void God Azathoth was an omnipotent skill capable of devouring even concepts, so it was no surprise. Ding! You just acquired the primordial technique, System Power, which comes with the following skills: System Creation, System Cancel, System Modification, Administrator Privileges, System Reboot, Law Manipulation, Physics Manipulation, Universal Message, Unlimited Promotion, Erasure, and Irreversible Elimination. Nice. More overpowered skills. It's not a surprise anymore, said Akira, who noticed that Alice was glancing at his naked body while having a nosebleed. Oh my, what are you looking at, my naughty servant? He teased her, which made Alice jump back in alert. Nothing, Master. It's just that, even after decreasing your beauty, I still can't get used to this much handsomeness. You truly are a worshipable figure, Master, said Alice. Ha! He laughed. But in reality, Akira himself was having trouble containing his lust after looking at Alice's beyond magnificent body. Now then, I think it's time to. He was interrupted as his vision started blurring out. Akira walked a few steps before falling to the ground unconscious. Master! Akira fell to the ground and started sleeping as his body adjusted to the new evolution he just underwent. 1 year later, 8 years later, 17 years later, 92 years later, 108,367 years later, 1,038,629,297 years later, over 1 billion trillion years later, unknown time later. Chapter 2: A Catastrophe Beyond Armageddon. Unknown time later, in the deepest abyss of the unperceivable, a young man was sleeping, more precisely, hibernating, while his head rested on the lap of his assistant. Her name was Alice, and the one sleeping on her lap was Akira. Akira was sleeping on her lap while she caressed his head continuously, being extremely careful not to hurt him. You're gonna grow up to become a very powerful god, Master. So make sure you stay strong during your transformation. Alice spoke, sitting alone in the void for what had been numerous eternities now. The worst part was that she did not dare to make a brusque movement at the moment. Right now, Akira's existence was weak, extremely weak, in fact, to the point where if Alice moved even by an inch, Akira could die. Yes, die with no way to revive. Having power that tends towards a nigh boundless tier was formidable, but also impossible to reach. Why is that? Because not only is the process ridiculously long and tends towards infinity, but it is also extremely dangerous. So dangerous, in fact, that a simple FFF ranked skill could terminally annihilate him right now. Apart from the absolute insanity and mind loss you get upon your transition to the boundless tier, you need to find a place for the hibernation. Obviously, you wouldn't choose a planet since it'll decay in a few billion or trillion years at most, which is less than 1/100th of the initialization time required to start the transformation. There is no place in this wide existence capable of sustaining such a large interval of time. How about the void? The inner void is still dangerous for the individual undergoing metamorphosis, since it acts like a vacuum decay or an infinitely powerful assembly of singularities. The only space that remains is the dimensional gap, a space of complete and utter emptiness separating two different dimension bubbles. It is the safest place for an absurdly long evolution, but if and only if the individual is accompanied by someone as strong as him to protect him meanwhile. But of course, this assistant in question needs to have a screw loose in their head, since they will live the next trillion eternities alone in utter darkness protecting their master. Exactly unknown Googleplex years have passed. The transformation is almost complete, Master. I hope when you wake up, you remember me, Alice said, having nothing else to do other than maintaining herself in this soft position for what had been an astronomically long time. Then suddenly, the calm she had been living in for so many years was abruptly broken by the anomalous noise of nearby space-time fluctuations. Without flinching, Alice watched this phenomenon for a whole minute before something unexpected happened. A rift appeared. A rift is known for being the aftermath of a teleportation. This could mean only one thing. The two had unwanted company. With an omnipotence so great it itched the ceiling and the roof of the nigh boundless tier, Alice wasn't scared, even if the top 3 strongest anime characters all united against her. The rift grew bigger and larger until it started revealing a dark silhouette, darkened by the brightness of the light. Eventually, the light died down and they were met with an actual person. "Hey, Seal, can you tell me where we are?" the individual asked himself. But in reality, he was speaking to his sentient intelligence skill called Knowledge Lord Raphael, which had evolved to its final stage, Mana Seal. "This is the dimensional gap, Master. It is the emptiness separating bubbles of different dimensions," the Manus replied. This individual speaking with his assistant was none other than the original Rimuru. Rimuru Tempest, the slime, the demon lord, the dragon god, the otherworlder, the rising star, the supreme deity, and user of mystical primitive magic. "Damn. Remind me what we were doing here again, Seal-san?" Rimuru asked while rubbing his back in uncertainty. "Sigh. We're here to investigate the abnormal fluctuations originating from this place, Master," Seal replied tiredly. Rimuru moved his eyesight in different angles, then spotted Alice with Akira still sleeping on her lap. His eyelids sharpened when he noticed the emotionless girl staring him down while patting the hibernating Akira's head. "There is nothing to see here, Satoru. I suggest you leave this place at once, for I won't let anything disturb my master's evolution, not while being so close to our objective," Alice said menacingly. A sweat drop formed on Rimuru's cheek as his vision shifted towards Akira. Then, his eyes widened when he realized the sudden truth. His power, it was increasing by billions and trillions every nanosecond. His strength and overall stats were reaching absurdly ridiculous proportions by the second. "Master, this individual has surpassed your current strength by decades just in the last few seconds. As for the female individual, I cannot measure her level. It is suggested that you reason with these beings and avoid a dispute at all costs." Even Seal is alarmed by those two. But does it really matter, Seal? After all, this body is nothing but a clone and the real deal is in my pocket dimension, which cannot be accessed. Rimuru monologued in his mind. One thing was for sure, there wouldn't be any progress if he just stayed silent. "Even if you somehow know my true name, I'll still introduce myself just to make sure." Rimuru took a more professional stance before continuing. "My name is Rimuru Tempest. I'm the leader of the Jura Tempest Federation and overseer of our world. Now, can I ask for your name, young lady, and that of the boy resting in your lap?" Rimuru asked, his guard up and ready to take any necessary initiative. Alice was irritated by this unexpectedly arrogant demand. "You may refer to me as Goddess Alice. As for my master, you don't deserve to know his name, no one does, in fact. Only I am the one honored creature possessing that right," Alice said with clear annoyance in her voice. Rimuru was shocked by her response. He proceeded to ask more questions for a clearer explanation. I see. Then, goddess, I take it that master of yours is undergoing a serious evolution. Can I ask what'll happen when it's finished? And I also want to know if my world will be involved in any kind of way, Rimuru said with a more serious tone at the end of his sentence. Heh, heh, he, ha ha ha, ha 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 ha, ah ha 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 ha, ah ha 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 ha. Alice laughed out loud like a total maniac. Rimuru stared at Alice laughing for an entire 2 minutes, as if a screw had loosened up in her brain, if she even had one. Ah ha ha ha. I'm sorry, but you were too cute asking that question. My dear, when my master's evolution is complete, every single multiverse, universe, world, and creature will be involved. The entire omniverse will bow down to its new masters. They'll worship us and offer us every single thing they possess, from their miserable, worthless, lowly lives to their entire territories, rights, liberties, and remaining lifespan, including you, my dear. You and your friends will glue your foreheads to the dirty ground and wait for our orders patiently until your last breath. Even then, we'll just revive you as undead to continue serving us in a never-ending torment marked by unimaginable suffering with no happy ending. This dialogue shocked Rimuru. He had to build up courage to actually answer such a psychopathic plan. Why you are the devil incarnate. You're a menace, not just to my world, but to all existing innocent people who fought for their freedom. Leaving you to roam free with your supposed master is equivalent to surrendering everything we fought for to you crazy bastards, Rimuru exclaimed with determination. In the next moment, he summoned the mystical item known as the Veldanava Sword, a legendary artifact made by combining the power of all 4 true dragons into one blade, Alice said. Alice knew way too much, even the confidential details Rimuru had made sure to keep a secret for 1 billion years now. Since you know all that, I can't let you stay alive. I hope you understand what I'm about to do, Rimuru announced solemnly. Then, with power and speed worthy of one of anime's strongest characters, Rimuru dashed towards Alice with the Veldanava sword glowing in his hand in a million lights. Here I go, Rimuru shouted bravely, while Alice just watched from a distance as the gap between the two closed at an alarming rate, without flinching an inch. And so, Rimuru slashed the Veldanava sword across Alice's waist in less than a pico-nanosecond. Boom! Lightning electrified the surroundings. The impact of the majestic blade hitting Alice's skin made a sound so loud it could be described as Veldanava's draconic roar incarnate. The sword caused so much damage it shattered the dimensional gap and created many anomalous quantum fluctuations in the environment. Nothing could withstand a direct blow from Rimuru's Veldanava sword. At least that's what he thought. Because when the dust cleared out almost immediately after, Rimuru had to wipe his eyes to make sure what he was seeing was reality and not some kind of unimaginable illusion. The blade had successfully hit Alice's waist, but the impact didn't even dirty her clothes, much less damage her. You're even more foolish than I thought. But enough politeness for now. It is time to slaughter the mouth that dared to bite its future eternal owner's hand. In order to engage in the battle, Alice's body split into a clone which supported Akira's head, while the main body got ready for an unforgivable showdown. Alice rushed at Rimuru with frightening speed. Rimuru had less than a second to react. Alice jumped past him and swung her hand across Rimuru's face. He barely dodged it, but her nails made cuts appear on his face. This fight was obviously unfair to Rimuru, as every bit of damage Alice inflicted on him stayed unhealed and unable to be reversed. How can I not heal? Rimuru exclaimed. Even by using the entirety of his perception skills all at once and empowering them with a little nothingness energy, Rimuru was still unable to follow Alice's movements. And of course, the Veldanava sword proved to be less effective against foes that you cannot see. But thanks to Seal's analysis, he was able to correctly predict Alice's next position and slash his sword downward exactly where she would appear. Kaya! Rimuru groaned as he attacked. Whoosh! The sword descended directly on Alice. Heh! Followed by a grin from her that sent chills down Rimuru's spine. The crazy girl actually caught the mystical sword's sharp blade barehanded and fought against the demon slime in a contest of pure strength. "Oh, come on. You must be kidding me," Rimuru complained in frustration. "I use swords like this for self-pleasure." With a single hardening of her fist, the blade became literal dust as it broke beyond repair, leaving only the handle remaining in Rimuru's fist. Warning: physical attack incoming. Escape rate 0%. Inescapable, Seal warned. In this moment of confusion, Alice delivered a punch directly to Rimuru's face, which threw him back 100 miles. Flash! He flew away, stopping himself and getting a handle on the situation. Rimuru glanced at his hand. What the? The sharp blade was completely shattered, broken into a million pieces. Alice gently grasped the handle from Rimuru's hand and removed it from his possession. "To break my Veldanava sword. This is becoming dangerous, Seal-san," Rimuru mumbled in growing worry. "Master, there is absolutely no way to flee from this fight. Usage of imaginary blow is the only way out of this one," Seal announced. "Please do, Seal. I'm about to die," he exclaimed in worry and actual fear. For the first time in a billion years, Rimuru felt the actual and purest form of fear, something he had completely forgotten after his many fights against the strongest powerhouses, such as a full-grown Malim or Guy Crimson, who had ascended to the highest form of evil spiritual existence. But unfortunately, as Rimuru was trying to cast the imaginary blow, Alice completely blocked the spell from being cast. "Fufu, you're trying to escape and then erase this timeline by using the imaginary blow. It won't be possible now," Alice said with an extremely malicious smile. "How did she know?" "Seal, I thought only you knew about this last resort skill?" Rimuru asked in confusion and pure shock. I don't know, Master." Ignorance coming from Mana Seal was a total oxymoron in its purest form. It was also an undeniable alert that warned Rimuru of how powerful his opponent truly was. But before he could even react, his entire body was paralyzed in place by the manifestation of fear in its purest definition. He would have soiled himself if he weren't a slime. "Master, the opponent used some sort of ability that inhibited the usage of all skills. Nothing can be used for the moment except for one. The following spell will be so powerful it'll probably affect my world. But it's a sacrifice I'm ready to make to stop you, Demonis Alice," Rimuru exclaimed heroically, determined to fight off this wicked creature and stop her master's evolution before it was too late. "Now, Seal," Rimuru shouted. Proceeding, usage of turn null focused on annihilating the individual goddess Alice. Power output, everything, confirmation, success. Then suddenly, Rimuru lifted his hands upward, directed toward Alice. And in less than a second, an indescribably powerful surge of liquidized energy enveloped the grinning Alice. This was turn null at its maximized state, a power so strong it could create and destroy an infinite amount of universes simultaneously. And with Rimuru being a slime, he was able to stockpile all of the excess energy produced by turn null into his infinite pocket dimension, making it extravagantly powerful. What followed was an explosion so powerful it could not be described. It lasted for an entire human millennium before calming down in this time-accelerated dimensional gap. What followed next was joy, a momentary joy powered by the confidence that there was nothing in this vast omniverse capable of withstanding the full blow of turn null while powered to its maximum state. Impact confirmed. It is safe to assume nothing remains on site, Master. Not even your cloned body. It has been destroyed countless times in very small time periods. But I made sure to... "Oh, are you sure about that, Seal?" "WHWH what?" Rimuru exclaimed in pure shock. The dust cleared out entirely, revealing a shocking scene. It was indeed a theatrical twist for Rimuru and Seal. Alice was still alive, and scathed, unharmed, and unflinching. She stood strong like a monster, completely unfazed after taking God Rimuru's most powerful attack head-on. "Fuck, that was hot as fuck. I'll call you if I ever need a deep tissue massage." Alice laughed sarcastically while looking at the scared supreme deity with a menacing gaze. I cannot justify her survival, Master, Seal commented. Alice grinned heavily. Sigh. I thought a supreme deity would have more in reserve than this pitiful spell. Honestly, what did you expect to happen when you attacked me with a fragment of Azathoth's power? Only the real Lovecraftian demon sultan can take me down, but we all know he's too busy sleeping for that. Alice's grin disappeared, leaving only a malicious expression and emotionless eyes. Chills passed down Remurg's back when he saw Alice approaching him, each step filled with immense dread. Her eyes focused on him like a merciless predator aiming for prey. Master, you need to… Error. A virus has breached security and is… Error. Critical reboot initiated. Failed. Last. Gaia. Rimuru held his chest tightly and panted for air, which was taken away by the sudden feeling of a farewell. The omniscient and all-powerful entity known as Manus Seal had left the world, and it was all Alice's doing. See, Seal. You monster! Rimuru got up on his feet again, completely berserk and in a mindless state. But before he could do anything else, Alice teleported right in front of him and grasped his long silver hair. She looked at him with cold red crimson eyes, and Rimuru could swear he saw what looked like souls in her eyes. Monster? How could you insult your goddess? Or maybe I was being too merciful. Then let me repeat myself. I am Alice, a demoness and incarnation of dark evil, she says menacingly, while pulling Rimuru's hair tighter and harder. In fact, when I finish with you, I will take the life of your friends as well. Ha 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 ha. Alice laughs heavily. Then suddenly, thousands of light beams materialized in front of the two. This is… Rimuru mumbled. These are all different timelines of your precious world. They will serve as catalysts for my master's evolution. Farewell, trap bitch. Alice screams psychopathically. Then in the next instant, all those small strings of light direct themselves towards Akira, merging with him and making him even stronger, while also accelerating the metamorphosis. Alice watched this scene with blushes on her cheeks and a grin that extended to the limits of her mouth, and Rimuru saw this catastrophe with pure despair sculptured on his face, utter shock before shedding to tears. At the end of the experience, the main timeline was no exception. It took a little longer since it tried resisting, but even the power of all its beings united was not enough to fight off Akira. The main timeline was easily absorbed, and with it, the broken Rimuru Tempest disappeared as well. Chapter 3, the real first chapter. Akira started waking up in what seemed like an endless void. His body just finished the process of recreating itself into a body worthy to be that of a god. His already beautiful charm got even more intense, a beauty incomprehensible by even immortals. What happened? He asked. Master, you're finally awake, and sooner than I thought. Good news for us, she said cheerfully. Sooner? How much did I sleep? He asked. Alice then thought for a second before replying. You have slept for, let's say, a lot, she said. Wait, you've waited for me all this time? He asked. I have pledged my eternal, undying loyalty to you, Master. I have lost the concept of time in my mind, and it wasn't that bad. Though the lack of communication with you, Master, made me quite sad and lonely, she said. Silence resonated throughout the void. Anyway, your body just finished adjusting to your evolution, and you have attained a level of power worthy of an outer god, she said smiling. Outer god? Aren't those ridiculously omnipotent beings capable of destroying realities with just a thought? He asked in shock. Indeed, while you were asleep, I cultivated all the energy available in this void, and the other void, and the other one, and an infinite amount of other voids. You have become as strong as a high-classed outer god, she said. Akira stayed silent for a few seconds. Let me show you your new omnipotent skills, Master, she said, casting a big holographic screen in front of Akira and sending a massive amount of information about the skills straight to his mind. Congratulations! You have obtained new skills. Boundless creation, boundless manipulation, infinite accumulation, merciless revenge, absolute erasure, the one-een, master of all, the One-Yang, multiversal predation, all records, nirvana omniscience, nirvana omnipresence, logic breaking, imagination breaking, boundary breaking, imaginary blow, truthful words, multiversal barrier, multiversal resistance, self-made artificial immortality, infinite mind, boundless results, and perfect physique. Akira's eyes widened upon reading those words and realizing their information and potential. This was unbelievable. This power far surpassed that of trillions of end-of-series Remuris in one army. He was completely unstoppable. Kukuku. I hope you know what that means, Alice, he said. Alice smiled evilly with a terrifying grin. I know, Master. With this power, you will be able to accomplish anything you want. Just think of it and it will come right to you. Use me however you like and I'll do it without question, she said. Kira smiled. And it was all true. He had reached a level of power so absurd only Azathoth himself could stop him now, with a power that rivals that of Yog-Sothoth Herc and many other primordial outer gods. Master, during your sleep, we were attacked by the Rimuru Tempest from the end of the Tensura novel. I mercilessly erased him, his friends, and his family. Now gimme praise, Alice casually mentioned. Wait. Alice? Just give me a second to think this through. We were attacked by the actual Rimuru from the novel? Kira asked. Exactly, Master. Though I handled him just like how it should be, Alice said. Then I guess he was no match for you, my dearest assistant. After my evolution, I obtained an infinite amount of knowledge, and now I understand why it's so difficult to reach the boundless tier of power. But the fact that you've waited for me all this time, dear, Akira said with a frown at the end. He got closer to Alice and held her chin seductively. His height was greater than hers, which made her make the effort of looking up to see her master with glowing eyes that shook with his every movement. It just makes my desire grow for you even more, dear, he said with ignited fires marked by determination and growing desire for this girl who sacrificed all concepts and moral logic for the sake of his time-irrelevant evolution. Master, I was configured to serve you. I do not care how cruelly you treat me, or how much you hate this lowly servant, or how much I have to dirty my hands for your sake. I have destroyed so many timelines. So much blood was spilled. So many lives were tortured. But it does not matter as long as you're satisfied, Alice exclaimed. Akira could not respond to such bold and bloody sentences. He was still wondering if this was reality or just a dream. Then suddenly, AGH! My head! It hurts! It hurts like shit! Akira screamed, suffering and agonizing from an unbearable pain starting from his head and extending to the rest of his body. Master! Alice shouted in worry. I can feel my mind being corrupted by infinite information and wisdom. My personality and remaining human morals are disappearing. Akira said with fear in his voice, scared of the abominable consequences left over by his transformation. Master, I'm afraid that with unmeasurable power goes away all sympathy and feelings for lower life forms. Not just that, but you will lose your emotions like those you had when you were a free human, Alice said. Akira stared at her, focusing on her words while his head throbbed with pain. This path you have chosen is no innocent choice, and as your loyal and eternal servant, I am bound to agree with anything you desire. So, are you ready to face what this chosen pathway reserves for you? Alice asked. Her words were filled with wisdom, speaking the undeniable facts devoid of hyperbole and cover-ups. Akira took a moment to embrace his human self one last time. He was being reborn from Akira Katsuragi into Akira Nava, the yet-to-be officialized outer god. I will, Alice. Count on me when it comes to leading you and myself around this madness of existence, Akira announced firmly. A grin appeared on Alice's face next. Great, Master. Now, as you can see, we're standing in the middle of an endless void with no escape. Where should we start? Alice asked. Akira took a few seconds to think before responding. Well, I kinda overslept until Tensura decayed and all its sub-timelines entirely. So let's rewind time a bit, shall we? Kira said. Alice raised a brow. Master, we're gonna go back by an amount of time transcending what's possible. Haha, this is gonna be fun, she exclaimed. Akira smirked and deliberately closed his eyes in confidence. Absolute manipulation. Time variant, he ordered. Then, a virtual old-looking clock appeared in front of him, suiting his desires. The clock was exactly what he wanted and would yield the exact results he expected. Akira held the eternity hand of the clock, which was the smallest, and started pivoting it backwards. Day 1 of my reincarnation. Let us see how the world reacts, Akira said. Then, immediately after, he started turning the clock hand, and time rewinds. Everything was going just fine in the world POV. Another day among others, nothing to worry about. Until the prophesied birth of Akira, a dragon god whose existence could not be kept secret. A grandiose announcement from the voice of the world was imposed. One that would shake the whole world and announce the arrival of a new god free to roam in this already existing system and destroy the balance of all. Announcement. The ultimate dragon god has been born into this world. This announcement shook everyone and plunged the world into chaos. Hell and the heavens were no exception. Even the strongest entities in this universe couldn't help but feel despair at that moment. Not only did the voice of the world announce the birth of a new true dragon, but this one was an ultimate dragon god. Even Veldanava, who was the creator of this world, only reached the stellar dragon god rank. This entity surpassed the creator, and the fact that his name was Nava only supported this theory. It was clear that this true dragon was a direct descendant of the creator, just like Malim Nava, which would be terrible if he decided to become a demon lord like her, seeing how Malim created havoc wherever she went. Something was wrong, they could feel it. Over in Guy Crimson's POV, in a far wasteland in the northeast of the Jura Forest, was the frozen palace of the primordial red, Guy Crimson. Beside him was the true dragon Velzard. Everything was going smoothly until... Announcement. The ultimate dragon god has been born into this world. Silence filled the room at that moment. Even the demon soldiers, archdemons, and the primordials Mizari and Rhine, who were supposed to be perfect incarnations of loyal maids, couldn't help but feel despair upon hearing the disastrous news. This is bad. This is bad. If not the worst news that I could hear in my entire life, Guy said in despair. The birth of this new dragon had to be in this moment of crisis. Talk about bad luck. Oh, looks like I have a new brother, if we can even call him that. But it is indeed bad news, sighed Velzard. If his powers are equal to Veldanava's, we're done for. Before Guy could finish what he was trying to say, a second universal announcement took place, which shocked Guy and his surrounding soldiers even more, to the point that any sane person would have gone mad in an instant. And as if it was not enough, the voice of the world projected Akira's message throughout the whole world, letting them know of his unlimited manipulation. Silence. Oh, no. This is horrible. He can control the voice of the world? Only gods and, no, only the progenitor Veldanava was able to control the voice of the world and make sure that it was programmed perfectly so it would never encounter a problem. Complete silence filled the room. Only some chuckles from people going insane could be heard. But could you blame them? Who wouldn't go insane after the appearance of a descendant of Veldanava? Even Guy Crimson, the strongest demon lord among demon lords, felt that he could be killed at any moment. The same went for Velzard, Mizari, and Rain. Mizari, Rhine, start the preparations for a Valpurgis as soon as possible. Send the invitations, no orders, to every single one of the demon lords. We need to discuss this matter as soon as possible. Do it now, shouted Guy while shaking. After all, the system was starting to deteriorate these days, which only made him worry more about the future of this world. This law-breaking entity who was probably never supposed to exist would only add more fuel to the fire. You understood, Master. Rhine responded in confusion. Guy put both his hands on his face and started muttering. If Rudra manages to get this guy on his side, all demon lords will be extinguished from existence. He feared. The demons confirmed that they had never seen Guy in this state before. Meanwhile, in Rudra's POV, this is bad news, the worst news in the history of news in this world. Velgrind, did you hear that? He said. Yes, I did, Rudra. Looks like a new true dragon has been born into this world. However, I've never heard of an ultimate dragon god. Even our oldest brother, Veldanava, was only a dragon god. So this dragon must be the strongest in existence, without a doubt. There's no denying it. Who are we even trying to fool at this point? Everything is going down bad, she said in frustration. What do you think we should do about this? He asked. I don't know, but if we could get him to our side, our odds of winning against the demon lords are almost 100%, she said, remembering the little game between Rudra and Guy. You're right, we mustn't panic. We should take advantage of the situation. Can you send some people to scout and look for this guy? He asked. Of course, but we don't know where he currently is. We should just wait and see how the situation progresses, she said. Yeah, I think you're right. If you find any piece of information, be sure to let me know as soon as possible. Understood, my darling, she said, smiling. Then suddenly Rudra started feeling an intense pain in his torso. He grabbed his clothing and fell to the ground from the agony. Velgrind came in a hurry to help him get up, deeply worried, and started spamming him with questions. Rudra, are you all right? She asked. Rudra, however, did not respond. His eyes, which were golden yellow, turned completely black, and a wicked smile appeared on his face. Black lines appeared in his hair as he stood back up. Yes, I'm fine, Michael replied. Having rewound time exactly to the first second of his reincarnation and the exact moment it was announced to the world, Akira watched every creature's reaction simultaneously and was quite delighted by this entertaining show. I can't imagine this. Master was able to rewind all his time of evolution in under a second. Master Akira is incredible in every single way, Alice said honestly, amazed by her beloved Akira. Don't worry about that. This makes me think. I want to test out my mastery of base powers and kind of let off some steam. I think I need to take this excitement somewhere adequate, he said, while catching a glimpse of Alice with his sharp eyes. How about Tensura's underworld? Is filled with sinners down there. I'm sure those pesky devils will make great punching bags. No, they need to feel honored for being master stress relievers. Yes, Alice said sadistically while tilting her head. Fufu. Then it's decided. Alice, I want you to go inside my mind for the time being. I'll start by inspecting the underworld before anything else. Who knows? Maybe I'll find some souls worthy enough to be enslaved, he said. Yes, master, she replied obediently, fading and transforming into a spiritual life form inside Akira's mind, just like Seal did with Rimuru. We're becoming one, Alice said with a blush on her face. You can look at it that way, Akira replied, unsure of a proper response. Then, Akira set off to the underworld. Chapter 4: The Greatest Devil. It was a rotten environment with a crimson sun in the red sky. Akira looked around and saw many beings. They only shared a few physical characteristics compared to humans. Their shape was humanoid, but the horns on their heads and the tails coming out of their backs made them look monstrous, as well as those eyes, red like scarlet flowers, glowing with bloodlust and the desire to kill. Demons? So this is the underworld, Akira said in amazement. It was fascinating to be able to cross to another world, especially one filled with so many powerful individuals. Akira was looking forward to meeting up with the archdemons and especially the primordials, who had earned a place in his heart back in his past life. Primordial demons held the position of progenitors who ruled over the underworld like kings and queens, apart from Guy Crimson, who was already having his fun against Rudra and Michael. Suddenly, one demon started roaring in anger as he stared at Akira. The creature was a medium-ranked demon with moderate power. His mind was completely corrupted by evil, leaving him with mostly just basic instincts that were confused by Akira's sudden appearance. The demon, angered even more by God knows what, sprinted towards Akira with his sharp fangs out, ready to slash him to pieces. Akira saw the demon running at him and knew it wasn't for a friendly greeting. Akira raised his hand and enveloped the edges of his arm in powerful nothingness magic. When the demon got close enough, Akira slashed his hand vertically across the creature. This caused the devilish beast to be cut into two perfectly sliced pieces, with blood and insides splattering around. Akira glanced at the butchered body of the demon. "Ha! I don't feel anything. Normally I'd be disgusted by such a scene or scared of committing murder, but it was kind of fun, slicing a lowlife. Told you, master. Welcome to hell," Alice said playfully. Seeing this gory scene, the low-ranked demons got terrified and started running away, while the medium and high-ranked demons took a battle stance, ready to end this threat that was Akira. Hundreds, if not thousands, of demons ran toward Akira with various weapons like blades and sharp claws. "This might prove to be a good way to test my base limits," Akira mumbled. Akira grabbed the sliced-up body of the demon he just killed and stared at it for a few seconds. He then closed his eyes and collected all the necessary information from the primordial records to pull off his little trick. Thousands of pieces of hidden and forbidden knowledge ran through his mind in less than a millisecond. Having finished, he reopened his eyes and lifted his hand, causing all the spilled blood of his victim to coagulate in his palm and form a new weapon exclusive to him alone, the sanguinary blade. Akira threw the dead body aside, then familiarized himself with the sword. "Come at me," he said confidently. Demon by demon, he sliced them like a butcher with his newfound sword. The sanguinary blade proved to be an extremely powerful weapon. The more excited he got, the hotter the blood became, and the stronger the sword grew. Having acquired all knowledge about existing and non-existing swordsmanship, Akira found no difficulty in handling the hordes of demons coming at him endlessly, slashing one into two pieces before turning around to strike down the next. This lasted for more than an hour until the situation finally calmed down. Akira's face was covered in a few droplets of blood, but he remained emotionless. The last demon jumped at him, but Akira simply caught his head and crushed the skull with bare force, killing him instantly before tossing him aside. "Finally over," he said. Akira glanced below him to see that he was standing on a massive pile of dead devils, a mountain of corpses. He thought he had only fought against high and medium demons, but some were archdevils and top-tier devils that thought they could stand a chance against him. Akira jumped from the pile of demons to the ground, stepping down from 5 meters worth of dead devils. "Oh well, that was a good warm-up, I guess." Akira let go of the sanguinary blade, which melted back into a puddle of blood upon hitting the ground. He had already learned the technique and was able to make as many sanguinary blades as he wanted now. Still, he hadn't heard or seen anything about a primordial demon. But now that he had so many dead bodies, he could roll the dice and summon them using those corpses as a catalyst. He was very confident that the type of corpse did not matter. There was a total of 70,000 deceased demons here and his luck was 100%, so why not give it a shot? Using his creation skill, Akira willed the event into existence. 4 primordial demon seals appeared directly in front of him. 4 demon rituals manifested, each in a different color corresponding to a different nobility: white, black, purple, and yellow. "Rise, my demons. Accept these corpses as gifts, and come to your new lord." Akira spoke with a serious, commanding tone. The demon seals started glowing in their respective colors, filling up with intense magic before detonating in a massive burst of energy. The smoke dissipated with a single swing of Akira's hand. 4 black silhouettes appeared in front of him. The blacked-out figures with menacing eyes stared at Akira before fully revealing their visual forms. What the fuck are you 3 doing here?" the blonde demon called John said. She was 173 centimeters tall with long blonde hair and blue eyes that gave her a European appearance. She had the aggressive attitude of a high school delinquent, though the unmistakable curves on her chest but made her look distinctly female. The same went for the other demons except for one who appeared male, or rather genderless. It seems like we've all been summoned by the exact same master." This other girl was a mature woman, 182 centimeters tall, wearing a gentle, elegant, and expensive bluish robe. Her crimson eyes and white hair earned her the name Blanc. The next demon girl was a bit smaller, standing at 169 centimeters, and seemed a bit shy. Violet did a good job hiding her sadistic personality behind that purple hair tied in a ponytail and her sharp golden eyes. She quickly hid behind the fourth demon, who had short black hair reaching his shoulders and was known as Noir. Kafofu, if it isn't little Violet and those two others, it seems like my memory is playing tricks on me, and I am not able to remember their names. Noir spoke. Huh, you got a death wish or something? John asked with an annoyed look, summoning a destructive yellow orb and almost slamming it directly onto Noir. It seems like my spell worked. This sentence came from the summoner himself, attracting the attention of all four demons who turned to analyze him. Noir had the quick instinct and wise foresight to immediately kneel in front of him in deep respect, showing appreciation for all the corpses he was offered. It was a fourth of the total donation, but it was still an immense amount of energy. My lord, he said respectfully. Hold up, bastard. John stopped Noir from kneeling. You may be an asshole, but we still don't know a single crap about who this fucker is. John looked at Akira with dreadful, piercing eyes. True, you may be our summoner, but we do not have any clue whatsoever about the purpose of this mess. Seriously, for primordial demons? Do you plan on taking over the world? Blanc spoke with a hint of a tease at the end of her sentence. Possibly, Akira responded. Those bold words made John raise a brow. Oh yeah. Tough GY. John spat. Who are you? Ultima asked. I'm the one who summoned all four of you, after giving up tens of thousands of demon corpses. I don't wish for a simple temporary service from you four. I want you to serve me eternally as we conquer this world. I may be completely able to do so by myself, but I desire your company. In truth, having primordial demons as your subordinates was just badass, especially the gorgeous ones like those three who would make the perfect harem for later. Ha ha ha. You're kidding, right? Die, bastard. John attacked Akira head-on with her destructive nuclear orb. As it reached him, Akira made the orb completely vanish by simply throwing a cold, effortless stare at it. It looked like he had heavily overestimated the power of John, the nuclear demon. The demons were utterly shocked to see that John's attack did absolutely nothing. Akira instantly copied her attack and created a perfected form of her own spell. That was very weak. Let me show you what real nuclear magic looks like. Akira threw the perfected orb at John, which blasted her kilometers away before detonating in a spectacular atomic explosion that incinerated the ground and sent a massive nuclear mushroom cloud climbing into the sky. Akira snapped his fingers and forced John to instantly reappear right in front of them. Blanc gasped, covering her mouth, while Violet watched with a sadistic smile at the extremely wounded and damaged body of John, who was practically at death's door. She would have died on the spot if Akira hadn't intentionally restrained the attack's lethal output. Noir expected nothing less from his new lord. Teach, this is amazing, Violet said while holding her cheeks in absolute excitement and jumping around, while Blanc made fun of John's pathetic situation. Akira healed John's wounds instantly. What the fuck? John sighed. I promise you all immense power along the way. You will undoubtedly become stronger and completely surpass the strongest of this world. Guy Crimson. Kira said. The atmosphere immediately tensed after hearing that name. Guy was an arrogant bastard they all wished to kill and dethrone. And seeing how they all shared the exact same ideologies, the four primordial devils kneeled in unison in front of Akira and promised their eternal loyalty. He had originally wanted them to become his subordinates by giving up those thousands of corpses, but the devils now genuinely wished to serve him with their bodies and souls, as long as it was Akira and no one else. Testarossa, Ultima, Carrera, and Diablo will be your respective names. You will also be granted physical bodies to shape as you like, he announced. The demons were entirely shocked by this. They couldn't believe what Akira was granting them. On top of powerful names, they were also given physical human bodies to wield as they pleased. Tons and tons of pure magic coursed through their frames, and before they could ask a single question, they fainted from the sudden evolutionary overload.